Hi, today I want to show you how you can build a PWA inside of Toddle. Now, you may ask yourself the question, what is a PWA? A PWA is the closest thing to a mobile application that you can do with only web technology. It will allow your users to install your web application that you have built inside of Toddle on their mobile device as a bookmark, and they can open that and it opens it in a standalone Safari browser. So it will have your branding to it. It won't have Safari branding to it. Now, PWAs are very popular for lots of applications, but they do have limited functionalities. But if you are just looking to get your web application into a full screen interface without having Safari's interface around it, and you want to add push notifications to your web applications, and you don't need fancy things like Face ID, like all the native Apple SDKs, like widgets, you don't need to publish it to the App Store, a PWA is exactly what you're looking for, and the wonderful thing about it, it is completely free to set up. So let's take a look in how we can build a PWA using Toddle. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a manifest for that PWA, and I'm right here on the web documentation. Now, this is how this manifest looks. Let's copy that manifest and let's just open this manifest JSON file that I already had prepared inside of inside of Xcode. And now I can just paste this, so we can just do this together and we can set up that manifest together. So what I want to do is I want to go here and update the short name. Let's call this super PWA, and then I want to update the name, probably want to have them be the same, and I will do this super PWA. There you go. Now I need to update the source file, the favicon, and we will put a link inside of here. We'll just ignore that. The start URL in this example will be our homepage, but you could go to like login or something, but I will just start with the source, and then we'll have the display mode standalone, so we won't get the Safari engine around it. And then the theme color is very important, because the theme color is your bottom bar color. So our application here is white, so we want to make sure that the background color is white and the theme color is white as well. Now we got this manifest, so I will just go to Xcode and save this, and you can use your favorite IDE for this, your favorite code editor. And now I got this new manifest JSON file. I'm going to rename it because we're using Bunny CDN, and I will do a super PWA manifest. There you go. Now I can go to Bunny CDN, and I can go to my storage zone. I can go to link storage, for example. There you go. Oh, that's an old one. That's still with the Wiz stuff. No, we don't want to use that. Let's go to Despia Lite. There you go. And now I'm just going to dump that. Ooh, wasn't dumped that good. There you go. I'm going to dump that manifest inside of here. And let's look for super PWA, super PWA manifest. I will copy this URL now, and now we need to set this up on the source directory inside of Toddle. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Toddle, and we're going to go to Files, and we go here on Settings, and we're going to go to App Manifest. We're going to paste that file URL inside of here. So now when we open our Toddle application and we go to /manifest.json, we're going to go to this manifest that we have created. Now, the source actually is missing. I forgot to add that. So now if we were to add it without the source and people were to install it, we can take a look at that. If I were to reload, you'll see it did change the color here. And when I just add it without a source, it will just, take that S itself. But we want to maybe have a custom icon for this. So for this, I will need to upload an icon on Bunny CDN. I already have one. I can copy the URL of that icon, and I can open this file again and just dump the icon inside of here. save the file. And now here's the thing, what you want to do, want to be very careful with BunnyCDN. BunnyCDN caches some of your files, so whenever you upload them, you want to give it a different name. So I'm going to rename this Super PWA Manifest v2. And now I'm going to look for the old one. I'm going to delete it because I don't need it anymore, but I want to upload it with a new name just because on how they work with things. Let's copy that URL. Let's go inside of here and let's go to the manifest. Let's paste the new manifest inside of here. Let's open that manifest, and now you should see that this is updated. So the manifest is updated. So now if I go to the web application URL on the site here, and I'm going to share, and I'm going to add this to the home screen, you will see that we have this added inside of here, this icon that comes from the manifest. So I can now add this to my home screen, and I can open this PWA. You can also add a splash screen if you want. There are some documentations on how to do that, but with Apple it's quite a pain because you have to add it for every dimension, and there is no way I'm doing that. I'm fine with a black screen just there. I'm not a perfectionist. I'm fine with okay. So let's just keep it okay, right? But if we take a look at that, now we got the PWA, and that is very cool because we have this full screen web application experience now, right? And when people close it, it does look like an application, right? There you go. Isn't that wonderful? And we got it all inside of here. Very cool. So now what we can do is we can just, we can just now go ahead in the next step and add push notifications to that using one signal, because PWAs have limited native functionalities, but they do have some. One of the functionality is basic access to geolocation. So they won't have accurate geolocation access, not as accurate as, for example, a native application. For example, if you're going to build your web application in Toddle, you could use Despia.com to convert your Toddle application, see Toddle here, into a native mobile application, right? You just build your application, your web app in Toddle, you add the Despia hooks with the Despia package, and then you just configure the settings in Despia and you publish it to the App Store, right? And you can test it on Xcode, and you will get accurate background location access. You'll get access to the native background location SDK. You'll get access to push notifications, easily set up, which we do have in PWAs, but the native push notifications will have more functionalities and more bells and whistles to them. We have in-app purchases, which your PWA will not have because it doesn't run through Apple's engine with StoreKit. We will have biometric auth, which your web application, your PWA will not have. We have native OAuth. Your PWA has an in-app browser, so it is comparable to it, but not the same. You will be able to install eSIMs in your web application, actually. Despia does it has it pre-installed, but you will be able to still do this in a web application, in a PWA. You won't have contact access in your PWA in Apple, though, and but you will have dialogues, but you won't have the native dialogues. So your dialogues will look like Safari dialogues, and then you won't have in-app purchases, you won't have biometric auth, you won't have haptic feedback, you won't have device indexing, you won't have scanning mode, you won't have screenshots, you won't have dynamic rendering, and you won't have widgets, which we're adding in Despia, you won't have app clips, right? There's some limitations. It's not an alternative for native application, which you can build in Toddle by just installing the Despia package, this one here, and this will give you access to all the native functionalities. And if you run it through the Despia engine, if I were to go to Despia here on /dashboard, for example, and I do have an application built in Toddle, right, you will have that application built in Toddle inside of here. You can just export the iOS project or publish it to the App Store. You can just one-click publish it to the App Store, and now it's building your application. It's building all the code together, and it will now send it to the App Store in one click. And as you can see, that is a Toddle web application that we can now get sent to the App Store, which is very cool. So just keep that in mind. You do have that available with Despia and Toddle. But if you just need a PWA, there are some limitations, but it's still very cool. And there may be some instances where you're building something that is explicit that you cannot get on the App Store, and for that a PWA is a great alternative to get something that is like a native experience. But that is the core structure. We got the PWA on our phone, and now we'll start adding the native functionality. The only really native functionality that is not really native functionality is push notifications for iOS that PWAs have available to them. And it will not use native push notifications, it will use web push. So there's some limitations with that, right? There's some limitations when it comes to device tracking. There's some limitation when it comes to installation. So for example, with a mobile app, the moment the user downloads the app, they can just add that permission to add push notifications, and you can always request the permission. When you do this in a PWA, you can only request for the push notification permission once, and if you want to request again, they would have to deinstall the deinstall the PWA and install it again. So this is what happens when you do PWA. There'll be always gaps. There'll be always there will be always improvements, UI gaps where you need to deinstall the app to add push notifications again. You can't manage that in the app settings, right? There are always some things, but it is a great way to get an app out there. Now, if you want to learn more about PWAs inside of Toddle, wait for the next video where we install push notifications into our PWA. And if you need help in building your PWA inside of Toddle, or your web application or your mobile application, I would highly suggest you to take a look at NoCodeProCode.com. In that community, we will have daily office hours for you Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. PST every day, besides Wednesday and Friday. At Wednesday and Friday, we'll have it at 3 p.m. PST for our Australian friends, so that it also accommodates their time zone. So if you want to get access to help inside of Toddle on a daily basis, whenever a problem comes up, you can join office hours and get it solved. And if you want to move faster, or if you're learning Toddle and you want to make sure you're learning it correctly and the right way from the get-go, I would highly suggest you take a look at NoCodeProCode.com. And it's not just me saying good things about it, it's everybody in here. Jerry loves it, Damien loves it, Leonard, who built the biggest Toddle application that gets more traffic than Toddle, right? Philip and Johnny and Daniel, right? And Sean, everybody loves it. So I would highly suggest you to take a look at NoCodeProCode.com. We're here to help you. You get access to daily office hours, templates, and AI generations for Toddle, and over 200 hours of courses and videos in our dashboard. I can't wait to see you on there, and regardless on if you join or not, thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to get the final piece of your PWA and Toddle set up with you by adding one signal push notifications. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate that, and see you in the next video. Take care.